And welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins 0. In the last episode we turned to Varus and Ruka for assistance in our search for Kagari, but unfortunately they too have come up empty-handed, so basically Suzuha is trying to take the weight of the responsibility of Kagari's disappearance on her shoulders. Where do we go to from here? To think of it, Amadeus Kurisu was saying something along those exact lines. A private investigator or a PI. Seems like Rintaro Okabe isn't the only one who decides to play Ho in Kiyoma on his days off. I realized he'd come up with the same idea I had. My head hurt. Ho in Kiyoma might. Maybe. Eh?
父さんを甘く見ないでほしいな。僕はオタだけど顔は広いのだぜ。
Maybe Daru does have some secret contacts.
横幅も広いけどな。
Very well said, Rintaro. Something tells me that if Kurisu was here in person, she would probably be laughing on the floor with tears in her eyes.
っていうか、本気で言ってるのか？本気で裏の世界の人間とやらにつながりがあると。
Well, Daru is a super hacker, and it would stand to reason that he must have made some insider circles. Let's see what he can bring to the table. Before Suzuha or I could respond, he took out his phone and started typing a message to someone. Was he serious? He certainly seemed serious. Was text messaging the preferred way to get in touch with someone from the criminal underworld? Would not... Unless he genuinely knows someone from the Yakuza, I doubt it. There is somebody who has been keeping tab on odd occurrences over the past 12 years. Maybe they might know something. In fairness, being a hacker was a pretty underworld sort of occupation too. If I knew someone like him, it was quite possible that the person he said he knew really existed. Could be. Then again, we don't know for sure. Well, we have two options. Either we're going to get a response from Daru's mystery contact, or Daru has just wasted his time and sent a text message into empty air. That sound means that we hit pay dirt. Instant reply. That's pretty fast.
今からそっちに向かいますって。
Wait a minute. She?
随分と話が早い相手だな。
遅いよりはいいんじゃね？
Nah, I suppose you do have a point there, Daru. That was true. Daru was sending another message. He was probably telling her where we were. All we had to do was wait for her arrival, whoever she is. And then the phone rang. First time that we've had an incoming call from somebody other than Amadeus Kurisu. And by the way, that's, yeah. It's, Rintaro's ringtone. It's not the ringtone saying, hey, it's Amadeus. He'll answer it. Because it's Ruka.
もしもし、ルカ子か？
Hail to thee and well met.
岡部さん、すみません。今、大丈夫ですか？
Well, free for the time being.
おう、どうした？
Until our mystery contact shows up.
実は、僕、岡部さんに相談したいことがあって。
相談？
So Ruka wants to talk to us about some sort of matter. Maybe it's something that he forgot to talk about
お
earlier.
会いしてもらえないでしょうか？
Apparently, Ruka wants to visit the lab.
今から電話じゃ言いにくいことなのか？
Given how fidgety Ruka is, I'm guessing not.
はい、少し。
But then again, we are expecting a mystery contact, so we don't really want to drag Ruka into, well, that being said, Ruka's already kind of been dragged into the search for Kagari. Right now? Would it be okay to leave this to Daru and Susaha? I'm sure Daru can deal with the
こ
mystery
れから
contact.
客が来ることになっているんだ。
But, unfortunately we don't really have time to deal with Ruka at this present moment. I was interested to see what kind of person Daru's friend was. Don't think he ever said they were friends.
そうですか。
But, Ruka seems troubled and upset.
その後からじゃダメか？
Wonder if it can.
その後は、僕も用事があって。
And it looks like Ruka has more errands to do at the shrine.
そうか。
Well, that was ill timing, but
それじゃあ。
just as Rukiko was about to say something, I hear the sound of footsteps coming up the stairs leading to the Future Gadget Lab. I heard sharp footsteps coming up the stairs. And then a knock. Looks like the mystery contact has arrived.
はい、どうぞ。
悪いルカ子、お客が来たようだ。後で連絡を。
Well, we'll see you next time, Ruka. And then I stopped. Seems Rintaro is surprised. The person who opened the door, it was...
こいつ、また。
Seems like it's somebody that we're familiar with, and indeed. So Daru's mystery contact is none other than Moeka Kiryu, and in fact, surprisingly enough, we haven't seen you since you were with Maho at the... No, that was before the Amadeus seminar began. We caught a glimpse of her briefly, but we hadn't interacted with her since. And she's still wearing the same attire she was wearing on that particular evening. It was Moeka Kiryu. I hadn't seen her since the ATF seminar.
岡部さん、どうしたんですか？岡部さん。
Yeah, remember to keep in mind that what happened on the Alpha Worldline should stay on the Alpha Worldline, Rintaro.
お茶どうぞ。
But seems that Rintaro's heart is beating loud and quickly in his chest. It's amazing that he's only suffering from a mild panic attack at this point. Of course, it stands to reason that Moeka of the Beta Worldline would have no inkling of her counterpart's actions, and with SERN no longer being the major players in this particular worldline, then I wonder if the Rounders are still a thing. Moeka was silent, with her head tilted slightly forward. Seeing her caused a dull ache within me, like my heart was being squeezed dry.
どうして
Why her of all people? Why was she here with Daru? Possibly due to the changes in the world line. Things are different here. I had any number of doubts in my mind.
どうしたんオカリン
No, nothing, just staring into the face of the very person who murdered Mayuri Shina in the Alpha World line.
いや
Although, lest we forget, those events were undone thanks to the demails and the time leaps that we made. Something tells me that Moeka is still as antisocial as ever, although the fact that she responded to Daru's message in record time basically means that her moniker of Shining Finger is once again well deserved. Although, given her attire is somewhat different than that of the Alpha World line, indeed, she actually has a much more flashier appearance, which means that things aren't all bad for Moeka on this world line, which I suppose could be a boon, I guess, a blessing in disguise. Moeka tilted my head a bit to the side, and I quickly averted my eyes. There was no connection between SERN and us anymore, so she wasn't going to kill Mayuri. And yet, we cannot forget the horrific memories of that world line. She wasn't going to kill Mayuri, who isn't here, by the way, fortunately. And Rintaro trying to convince himself over and over and over again that Mayuri isn't going to die on the Beta world line. Not to Moeka, not to SERN, nobody. I said it to myself over and over again, and finally started to relax.
おじさん、顔色悪いよ。大丈夫？
We shouldn't get Suzuha worked up too much, although something tells me that we should actually probably explain the situation at a later
気にし
point.
ないでくれそれよりもダル説明してくれ
Indeed, how are Daru and Moeka acquainted in this world line?
ああ、この人は桐生氏。ヘンプロのライターさんだよ。
It seems that Moeka is still at still working as an editor at or writer at Arc Rewrite, and she's still holding that purple GG01 phone that she has never ever seen without. It's basically her connection to the outside world. EditPro stands for editing production. Editing producers do special projects and editing work for a variety of publishing companies. Of course, in the Alpha World line, she was also known as M4, one of the rounders, searching for the IBN 5100 for SERN and the Committee of 300, and I keep forgetting not to do that. I apologize.
Kiryu, Moeka desu.
Although from Moeka's perspective, this is the first time that she's been introduced to Rintaro Okabe, and thus the first time that she's ever physically stood in the hallway of the in the hallowed Sanctum Sanctorum of the Future Gadget Laboratory. She silently handed me her business card, which had the company name of a company called Arc Rewrite written on it. True, she does still work there, and she normally prefers to communicate via text messaging, in which case her personality takes a complete 180. She's not used to dealing with people as such, but on this world line I would say that her circumstances, as I just mentioned before by her attire, are somewhat more prosperous than her Alpha world line counterpart. Arc Rewrite, an editing production company located in Akihabara that primarily does articles for computer magazines. That they do. That was why Moeka joined Arc Rewrite in the Alpha World line to begin with, to search for the IBN 5100, and use that as a cover of sorts. But in this world line it's her actual occupation. Daru gave a brief explanation to me in Suzuha.
なあ、ダル。お前はどうしてこの人と知り合いに？
前にさ、ケリュウ氏の担当してる雑誌で秋葉関係の都市伝説を扱った特集があったんだよね。
So she is still kind of interested in the IBN 5100,
その
it
時に
seems.
僕のバイトのこと取材したいって申し出があってさ。僕のバイトってほら、あんま大きな声で言えないやつっしょ。だから取材に関しては丁重にお断りしたんだけど。
But like Kurusu Makase, Moeka Kiryu has an intense persistence that is hard to match.
ただ、僕って普段から足がつかないようにかなり注意してるんだよね。なのに桐生氏はその僕にたどり着いた。それが気になって。
Indeed, that should have gotten your attention there. Because Kiryu is Moeka is very good at tracking people down.
で、会ってみたらこの通り、すげえ美人さんだったわけだ。
Of course, if memory serves, Moeka will probably be ignoring this conversation, or at the very least keeping a low profile. But we still need to know whether or not she's actually still working with SERN.
都市伝説を追う美人ライターとか燃えざるを得ないだろう、上皇。
Yeah. You do realize she's 3 years older than everyone in this room. By the way, she's a year older than, she's a year younger than, Maho. That would make her 2 years older than Daru, Rintaro, and Suzuha. And that's how they met in this world line. So, Even though the circumstances have changed, the connection between Moeka and the Future Gadget Laboratory remains the same. Moeka was frowning as she saw how Daru acted around as Moeka. Suzuha was frowning, I should say. I think I said Moeka there by accident. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'm losing my mind. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she was thinking that he'd be better off directing his attentions towards Yuki Amane. Moeka, for her part, seemed completely uninterested in Daru. She was wearing her usual poker face and fiddling with her phone. She's still using a Japanese feature phone instead of a smartphone. Certainly looks that way.
専門ってわけじゃないけど、秋葉についてはかなり詳しいみたいだし、結構裏の方の事情も知ってるっぽいから頼んでみるのもありかなって。
Well, I guess we could consider Moeka Kiryu as a private investigator of a sort.
人探し、そう聞いた。
And she's actually speaking in complete sentences.
実はね、12年前に秋葉でいなくなった女の子を探してほしいんだお。
I wonder what she's going to want in exchange. Money or information? Daru told Moeka the basic story. She was dead silent the whole time, but she typed his words into her phone with incredible speed. Still the fastest texter in the West, and the East, and the world. I'd said nothing and just watched. Yeah, the moment we utter the name Shining Finger, Daru and Suzuha are going to be incredibly suspicious of Rintaro. She was once a rounder. She probably still was. If that's the case, then that means that SERN isn't entirely out of the running. Though as I said before, they're completely outmatched when it comes to strategic focus. Was it okay to trust her? If she's involved with SERN, probably not. It was just a coincidence that I'd run into her here. And yet something tells me otherwise. I knew that in my head, but my heart just refused to accept it. I would listen to your heart in this instance, Rintaro. Here in the Beta worldline, we'd never encountered Moeka Kiryu here before. And since she's not a lab member, she is not 005. At least not yet. Of course we hadn't. I'd chosen the Beta worldline so that we wouldn't, and yet here she is. Even though the cost was Kurusu Makase's life, indeed her very existence. And yet worldline convergence...
つまり、その椎名Kagariという人を探せばいいの。
Worldline convergence is once again being especially cruel to Rintaro Okabe, but it appears she's willing to look for Kagari.
そういうこと。どうかな。
She might be able to find the very leads that we've been able to up until this point.
いい。
Though of course she's still speaking in her usual stilted fashion.
マジ？
でも、見つかるかはわからない。
Yeah, it's best to make no promises and not have our expectations set too high.
もちろん、その場合はしょうがないよ。
We can say we tried and move on. Normally Moeka and I would never have run into each other like this. Of course, we might have crossed paths in Akihabara. We almost ran into each other when she'd come to interview Dr. Liskinen and Maho at the ATF seminar. but I'd convinced myself that we were never going to meet each other directly. Was this fate? Was she and I fated to cross paths at some point? Probably. If that was the case, maybe it was better not to try and avoid her, but to watch her to see what she did. As I listened to Daru talk to her, that's what I started to think. Well, she is an ally for now, but the moment her true intentions are revealed...
じゃあ報酬は成功報酬で、その他の必要経費はこっちで持つってことで OK?
Indeed, all the necessary expenses will come courtesy of Itaru Hashida, by the way.
問題ない。
And Moeka seems confident that she can
オカリン
find
も鈴葉もそれでいい
Kagari.
私は手伝ってもらえるなら文句はない。
And Suzaha has no objections, so
俺も構わない。
じゃあ契約成立ってことで一つ
contract has been sealed. You better take responsibility for this, Daru. Feel like we've made a devil's bargain of sorts. But at least Moeka is prepared to investigate. Moeka nodded slightly and then asked us for information about Kagari that might be a clue. Stuff like the clothes she was wearing when she disappeared and what she looked like. After that, she left. And Rintaro can breathe a sigh of relief. All the tension suddenly drained from my body as I sank into the sofa.
おじさん、本当に大丈夫？
Probably now's not the best time to tell Suzaha about
大丈夫
Moeka.
だ。少し緊張しただけだから。
Although if we confirm that she's still involved with SERN on this worldline, then maybe it's probably a good idea to fill them in. It was a little late, but I took some anxiety meds out of my pocket and swallowed them.
おじさん、さっきの桐生萌香って人のこと知ってたんだね。
Of course, we're not fooling Suzaha, but then again, we never intended to fool her. She's sharper than a tack. She could tell. Of course she did.
マジでオカリンいつの間に
Yeah, another world line. Didn't happen on this one.
どうしてそう思ったんだ？
見ていればわかるよ。
Yeah, this is probably something we should talk about privately with Suzaha. I guess you have to be pretty sharp to survive on the battlefield. Indeed, her instincts are so honed that she can pick up things that most people usually can't.
いや、知らない人だ。
But as far as this world line is concerned, we don't know Moeka Kiryu. Not technically,
ア
anyway.
ルファ世界線では知ってた。
And then the penny drops, as always. Can't exactly lie our way out of this one.
わかった。これ以上は聞かないけど、私なりに警戒はしておくよ。
Again, if memory serves, Suzaha helped us in the Alpha World line, so her Beta World line counterpart will keep an eye on Moeka for us.
それでいい。今はな。
But we don't want to attract any unnecessary attention. We've been through enough as it is.
一体何のこと
Probably best to leave Daru in the
緊張
dark
し
for
たっ
the
てい
time
うこと
being.
さ。
わかるわ桐生氏は美人で巨乳でスタイル抜群でメガネ属性まで持ってるもんなしょうがない
Not that kind of nervous, Daru. Also, stop making that cat face. It's creepy.
そうだ。
That's even creepier. So, Ataru. I have no words. I don't even. Well, if she were a part of my life now, I would just have to use her as best I could. Maybe it was because she was gone now, or maybe it was because of the anxiety meds, but I'd calmed down enough to start thinking that way. Of course, who knew if I'd feel the same way the next time I saw her face to face? That is indeed true. Hopefully, the next time our paths cross will be when, she actually has something on Kagari, or not. It looks like we're, with Maho in Wako City at the Brain Science Institute. Its full name is the Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, which is a very hard, long name to say. Maho Hyajo had tried her best to hold back a yawn, but in the end she'd given up and opened her mouth so wide it covered well over half her face. Looks like she's exhausted as well. Probably working overtime on Amadeus, as always. One reason was that she'd gotten caught up in talking to Amadeus Kurisu last night, and only ended the conversation after it was late into the night. At first they'd been discussing the research and experiments she'd been doing, but at some point she'd gotten sidetracked into talking about Rintaro. Evidently he'd been ignoring calls from Amadeus Kurisu for the last few days. Kurisu was much madder at him than she was when he ignored her the first 8 times. It was the first sign of femininity that she'd ever seen from Kurisu Makase. It was cute enough that Maho couldn't help but take the chance to get back at her for all the teasing she always did. She ended up staying a lot later than she'd intended. And since she was too energized to sleep by that point, she'd gotten out Kurisu's old laptop. Looks like she's still trying to crack that password. She started to fiddle with it to see if there was some way to crack the password, and the next thing she knew it was morning. I've had days like that. Indeed, and we have Daru to thank for that security. And it seems that Lexington loves showing up out of nowhere. Then again, he does work here. She suddenly heard a voice behind her and almost jumped out of her chair. Tamaho it is. That he is. Apparently he just showed up randomly out of the blue. He raised up his hands and showed her some plastic bags from a nearby convenience store. He left to go get lunch just 10 minutes ago, and she'd been sure he wouldn't be back for a while. Guess you were wrong, Maho.
それにしても日本のコンビニは食べ物の種類がいっぱいで本当に素晴らしいね。
Apparently, Liskanen is rather fond of Japanese convenience stores.
毎日違う弁当を食べても1週間もすればすぐに新しい弁当が出る。
Please don't tell me you got lunch boxes for every single day of the week.
しかも
One or two is
店によっ
usually
ても
fine.
味が違うから毎日コンビニでも飽きないよ。
コンビニのお弁当ばかり食べていると栄養偏りますよ。
We might end up with a second Daru, which which is a terrifying thought.
それでもアメリカの食事に比べればかなりヘルシーだよ。
Of course, Liskanen does have a point.
第一、食事についてのお説教だけは魔法には言われたくないね。
Seems that Maho spends her time chowing down on junk food like most other people. Can't exactly argue with Liskanen there. He was right. Nutrition wasn't an important consideration for Maho. In fact, she ate mostly cereal and meal replacement shakes, which made her diet very unhealthy.
ところで何をプロに頼むって？
Oh, that's right. Liskanen doesn't know about, or he probably does know about the laptop, or he will at this point. But, yeah. Word of advice, Maho. I wouldn't confide in Liskanen if I were you.
ああ、あれはその、なんでもないです。なんでも。
That's not going to be suspicious at all. It wouldn't bother her if Liskanen found out. It would bother me. But for some reason, she suddenly decided not to tell him. It's your intuition speaking to you. I suggest you listen to it.
そうかい？私でできることなら力になるよ。
He may seem cheerful and pleasing on the outside, but he does have an agenda.
ありがとうございます。その時はお願いします。
And unlike Moeka Kiryu, who I eventually stopped trusting after her obsession with the IBN 5100 made her incredibly suspicious. Yeah, I trusted Alexis Liskanen for a while. I actually, thought he was a good character. And then I found the truth. And that opinion has changed. You disappoint me, Liskanen. You really did. She stood up and headed for the door.
魔法、どこへ行くんだい？
気分転換も兼ねて秋葉原に行こうかと。
Yeah, considering the fact that she spent all night and all morning cooped up in this little, in this facility, it's probably good to go outside.
気分転換で行くにしては随分遠いね。
But Liskanen seems to realize that she's avoiding him.
ウィンターローに会いに行くと素直に言えば許可しよう。
Though he's just as
そんなんじゃ。
incorrigible as Amadeus Kurisu.
違うのかい？
ついでに会いに行ってもいいですけど。
Yeah, it's better than getting him suspicious about the truth. As long as he continues to play these games. Okabe had a laboratory in Akihabara. Amadeus Kurisu told her that last night. It's not a proper laboratory as such, and indeed the laboratory is actually being rather generous. She said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time, and had only recently started going there again. That's because of the death of the actual Kurisu Makase. It should probably explain why he's avoiding Amadeus Kurisu as well. Maho was a little interested in it too. Wonder if Maho will form a similar opinion of the Future Gadget Lab as Kurisu
言っ
did.
ときますけど違いますからね。そういうのじゃないですからね。
私はまだ何も言ってないよ。
Yeah, but even though we're not a telepath, we can know what you're thinking.
というわけで、今日は研究は休みます。
Rintaro によろしく。
I'm sure he'll be elated. With that, Maho is now outside. First Amadeus Kurusu, and now the professor. Why did they have to keep trying to make everything about romance?
っていうか、ああいうのもセクハラよね、今の世の中じゃ。
Well, if push comes to shove, you can always sue Leskinen. Wonder how that would turn out. For one thing, she wasn't going to Okabe's lab just to visit him. She wanted to see him again and see if she could get any hints about the password. He had said he didn't know, but he was probably able to come up with more than she could on her own. That was what she'd thought after seeing how he'd interacted with Amadeus Kurusu. I believe this is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate 0. When we return, adventurers, we'll see if Maho will eventually build up the courage to go to the Future Gadget Lab and try to talk to Rintaro about getting that password security cracked. And although I have a sneaking suspicion that Rintaro would rather gouge his own eyes out than open the Pandora's box that is Kurusu's laptop. Anyway, as always, adventurers, until next we meet.